And joining me right now is our friend, New Mexico Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury. She is a member of the Oversight and Government Reform and Natural Resources Committees. Welcome back, Congresswoman. I do want to get your reaction to all of these head-spinning developments regarding the Strait of Hormuz and the president's assertion today that talks with Iran are going well and that the war will be over soon.
Well, I think it's very clear the statement you just played from the president makes clear that this president has no idea what he's doing and is not fit to be serving as our commander-in-chief. He doesn't know if he's going to drop bombs. He doesn't know what his strategy is. He doesn't know what his exit strategy is. He doesn't know how he's going to get the Straits of Hormuz reopened. It's very clear since day one that the president agreed to go into this war, that he has not only not provided appropriate justification to Congress and to the American people, but that he doesn't know what he's doing. And that is not only threatening the lives of our service members. We have 13 killed, hundreds with severe brain injuries. Thousands of civilians have been killed. Lebanon has over 1 million people displaced. And all of this because there is a madman in the White House who doesn't have a clue how to lead his way out of a paper bag. And he is putting our troops in harm's way.
Which brings me to what you are doing, which is co-sponsoring a bill to create a commission on presidential capacity based on the 25th Amendment. This bill has support of 50 Democrats. You cite Trump's unhinged threats to wipe out Iran's civilization, his attacks on Pope Leo as principal reasons for this move. But what do you hope comes of this, since enacting the 25th Amendment would have to come from his cabinet, from those on the inside?
Yeah, well, there are only two legal mechanisms to remove a sitting president other than him voluntarily resigning or leaving office because of natural reasons. And the only two constitutional mechanisms that we have is impeachment, which there have been multiple impeachment files and articles filed in Congress, but there is not the political will within the Republican Party, who controls the body, to proceed on that. In fact, they don't even have the political will to rein in the president in this illegal war. The second is the use of the 25th Amendment, which was adopted after JFK died, which allows the cabinet and the vice president to assess that the president is no longer fit. Now, politically speaking, we know that the vice president is still doing the bidding of the president and has not acknowledged that clearly the president is gone crazy and not fit half of the time that he is making public statements about the war and Pope Leo and claiming to be Jesus Christ. But what is really important about this bill that Jamie Raskin is leading on, and which I'm a co-sponsor of, is that after the 25th Amendment was adopted, there was never legislation put into place to create a process to remove a president using the tools of Congress. And so this bill would establish a bipartisan commission. It would utilize former both Republican and Democratic heads of U.S. government functions, including vice presidents and cabinet secretaries, and ultimately subject the president to medical and mental examinations to determine if he's fit to serve. Now, is there political will to pass any of this? Not at this time. But what I can say unequivocally from the polling, from my district, from the calls we get every day into my office, is the American people overwhelmingly seem to view what is happening right now as completely unacceptable. And they see the statements that the president is making and can see with their own eyes that he is not fit to serve right now.
The president was in Nevada and Arizona this week, hyping up what Republicans hoped would be their ace in the hole in the midterms, those tax cuts contained in his big spending bill. Take a listen to some of what he said. This was Thursday. Here it is.
So when rich people do something, they always look for deductions, right? It's always deductions. They have deductions and everything. And middle class and middle income people, poorer people, they don't think in terms of deductions. The great big beautiful bill also slashed taxes on millions of American small businesses, including restaurants, dry cleaners, corner stores. What is a corner store? I've never heard that term. I know what a corner store is, but I've never heard it described, a corner store. Who the hell wrote that?
Yeah, that one was remarkable. But the polling shows that Trump's approval on the economy is at an all-time low. As gas prices approach, what, a 5-year high? Mortgage rates are surging, inflation now higher than when President Biden left office. So how do you respond to the president insisting the economy's never been better?
Well, I think the American people are clear. They go grocery shopping, they fill up their cars at the pump, they're paying their utility bills, and clearly the cost of living is completely out of control right now. And not only has the president failed to lower the cost of living, to lower inflation, to stop the bleeding for paying for the deficit and now his forever wars, Americans are truly at one of the worst cost of living crises we've seen probably in modern times. And it is being driven not only by inflation and things happening in the broader global economy, but the fact that the president has taken us to war. He's spending our taxpayer dollars on bombs, and he's put into place a tariff regime that has driven up the cost of everything. In fact, I literally just went grocery shopping before I came here, and I bought about half of the groceries I normally buy for the same cost. And that's happening to everyone. And if you're a senior, if you're a low income person, if you're a student and you're living on a fixed income, you are not thriving right now. And I think it's very clear the president doesn't even know what a corner store is. I doubt that man has ever filed his own taxes in his entire life. And so billionaires should not be making tax policy for working people in America. And it's very clear that he's completely out of touch. And his big ugly bill cut healthcare, it cut food assistance, it cut educational assistance. And now he's presented a budget to Congress that would cut housing and other programs that help Americans survive. And that is not a viable tax and economic plan. It's driving Americans over an economic cliff, and it's being done on the backs of our people who are suffering every single day and paying the costs.
I have one more question to ask. It's regarding the attorney for Ghislaine Maxwell, who's been actively engaging with DOJ officials, who said Maxwell will testify before Congress if granted clemency, claiming she's just a scapegoat for Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. Do you believe President Trump is seriously considering a pardon? And what message would that send about accountability in the Epstein matter?
Well, I don't know whether or not the president is considering a pardon, but it's very clear that she is trying to gain a pardon by essentially saying that she would exonerate the president when she knows very well that he's deeply implicated in Epstein's activities. They were friends for years. There are FBI files that allege accuser who came forward who has accused the president of rape of her as a minor. And so, yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for crimes she committed against women and girls. She is a sexual predator. She's a trafficker, a groomer. She was convicted in a court of law. She deserves to be in prison. Of course, she's going to try to campaign for clemency from a president she knows she has dirt on. But we are not going to allow that. And certainly if the president does take steps, there will certainly be court action. And I'll just note this, even the Supreme Court denied her attempt to try to annul her previous conviction. So I think they're on very shaky ground trying to get some sort of pardon from the president. But will the president do it to try to hide from allegations in the Epstein files? I don't know if there is a low for this president in the Epstein case.
Well, I will say the president, as you well know, has denied any allegations being associated with him and Jeffrey Epstein, but we'll leave it there. Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury, thank you so much.